feasible in, say, 20 years, but given 50 years, 100 years, I don't think that overcoming old age and death is impossible. And then whatever we fantasize on, whatever our dreams, whatever stories we believe, it becomes the most powerful force in the world. The very future of evolution, of life, will be shaped by human fiction. By human fiction, I mean the stories in which science and technology will give us the power to realize whatever fiction we believe in. And then the question, what is your favorite fiction, will become maybe the most important question in the evolution of life. What we are seeing, or what we will see in the not so distant future, is exactly the collapse of the separation between fiction and reality. Because things that begin as fiction in the human mind, we will have the technology to make them a reality, and then they are no longer fiction.
Yeah.
You could create your favorite heaven or hell, maybe, using bioengineering and using brain-computer interfaces and virtual reality technology and things like that.
Do you think in terms of optimism and pessimism here, or are you just describing the world as you see it and not tipping in one direction or another with respect to your hope or fear about what's happening?
I try not to think in terms of optimism and pessimism, because it then, colors your lenses and makes it more difficult to just see what is happening. I also think as a historian that history is not deterministic and technology is not deterministic. You could use the same technology for very good purposes or for very bad purposes. If you look at the 20th century, then you see that with the same technology of electricity and cars and radio and all that, people could create communist dictatorships or fascist regimes or liberal democracies. The electricity didn't tell people what to do with it. And it's the same with biotechnology and artificial intelligence. We still have options. And just to give one example, which is close to my heart, because I'm very much concerned about what we are doing to other animals, and especially farm animals. And I think that the biotechnology poses both the greatest threat and the greatest promise to farm animals, depending on what we choose to do with it. You could use biotechnology to start engineering cows and pigs and chickens that grow faster and have more meat and give more milk and whatever, serving the interests of the industry, while completely disregarding what this means in terms of the experience and the misery of the animals. On the other hand, you could use biotechnology to start what is known as cellular agriculture, or create cultured meat or clean meat, which is meat grown from cells. If you want a steak, you don't need to raise a cow and kill it and have a steak. You can just grow the steak from cells.
I actually had Uma Valetti, the CEO of Memphis Meats, on the podcast about a year ago, and that was the topic. I'm very excited about this truly ethically pure approach to growing meat, and just the no animal involved. It'd be a wonderful breakthrough.
Yeah, so this is a good example that the same field, of course it's not exactly the same technology, but the same field, depending on how we choose to use it, can be an immense blessing and can be a terrible curse. So I try to focus just on understanding what are the possibilities. And also, I try not to make prophecies and forecasts. I don't think anybody really knows how the world would look like in 2050. I really just try to map the different possibilities.
So to take a very local case that is in the news itself is in the news, right?
This gonna be bad.
The issue of fake news seems to me has direct relevance to the influence of stories. How do you view this recent phenomenon of fake news? Is it at all new, or have we been dealing with fake news for thousands of years?
I still don't understand what's new about it. I mean, it's a very troubling phenomenon for sure, but I don't think there is anything new. I mean, if this is the era of post-truth, then I would like to know when was the era of truth. I mean, was it, the 1950s, the 1930s, the Middle Ages? I don't think there is anything that Joseph Goebbels didn't know about propaganda and fake news and manipulating the public. And going much further back, fake news are thousands of years old. You just need to think of the Bible. And the Bible is also a disconcerting example that can last forever.
Yeah.
It's not get exposed after, a month or a year. They can last for thousands of years.
That's a great meme. Fake news can last forever. Let's get T-shirts printed. So, one thing is very interesting in your latest book, again on this,
on the
implications of technology. You speculate about the likely birth of new religions inspired by technology. Say a little more about that.
Yes, I think that there is a good chance that Silicon Valley and places like it will create not just gadgets and tools, but ideological systems and even religions that will make many of the traditional promises of religion, promising, justice and prosperity and even immortality, but here on Earth with the help of technology, and not after you die with the help of supernatural beings. And you can say that we have actually seen at least some techno-religions, religions based on technology previously. Maybe the best example is socialism and communism. Communism promised to create paradise on Earth with the help of the technology of the Industrial Revolution. And now it didn't work very well, but this was the basic idea. We don't need God, we just need to control the means of production, and the engineers and the technicians